sure am glad to see you. Almost didn't get here, come to think of it. Ended up taking buses, taxi cabs, and figuring I was going to have to hitchhike when it's all over with. But here I am. Anyway, hi. Glad to see you. Well, since my little fingers here is a little bit cold, I'll start out on a Mule Skinner Blues, I guess. Kind of a finger warm rocker anyway. Good morning, Captain. Good morning, son. Yeah, good morning, Captain. Good morning, son. And do you need another mule skinner out on your new mud run? Now, hey there, little water boy, bring your bucket round. Hey there, little water boy, bring your bucket round. And if you don't like your job, put your water bucket down. Texas, Chief of Tennessee. Yeah, Chief of Texas and Chief of Tennessee. Well, up old Thelma, but you made a fool of me. Well, I'm working on that new road, and I'm a-rolling all the time. Yeah, working on that new road, and I'm a-rolling all the time. I can pop my initials on a mule behind. Now, good morning. Good morning, son. Yeah, good morning, Captain. Good morning, son. If I need another mule skinner out on your new mud run. Well, you wouldn't know it to look at me, but that is the worst part of the night for me. That first song when you get up in a strange place. Hi, George. The only reason my knees don't knock is because my legs are so thin they miss each other. Well, I'll give you something sort of serious. I suppose you all heard of that song called Pretty Polly. Well, I don't know if many of you know the story of it, actually, but I read in a book. I suppose it looked pretty official, this book. But I read in this book that this song is about 700 years old. Pretty Polly, and it originally came from Sweden, believe it or not. And it's about a young cat, a young guy. He meets a young chick, a young girl. And does everybody know what cats and chicks mean, I suppose? Anyway, this cat met this chick, see? And so they went a-walking and talking down the road. And they walked on, and they talked, and they walked, and they talked, and they walked, and they talked. Pretty soon they figured that, by cracky, they liked each other okay. See? So they walked on some more, and they talked some more, and they walked some more, and pretty soon they figured out that they liked each other even better than they thought they did in the first place. So they went on a walking a little bit more, see? So they walked and they walked and they walked and they talked. And finally, they figured out they was in love. So what happens, you know, young folks when they fall in love sometimes, that's what happened. They ended up there on the hillside behind some trees and bushes, fiddly-faddling around. Well, in those days in Sweden, they didn't have the pill, and the young lady became pregnant. And also in those days, that's just something you didn't do in Sweden, go around getting girls pregnant, see, he was married. So a great deal of commotion was caused by all of this. And so they got a worrying, and she got a worrying, and he got a worrying, and so the next thing you know, they's out walking and talking some more, see. And so the boy, he really did get in an upset state. This is the bad part of the story here, actually. He lost his head, and he killed the girl. And dragged, but he did. And this song, by the way, started, well, maybe I'll just go on. Let's hope my fingers work okay here. Well, I used to be a rambler, I hung around in town. Well, I used to be a rambler, hung around in town. I courted pretty Polly, whose beauty never been found. Pretty Polly, come take a walk with me. Pretty Polly, come take a walk with me before we get married, some pleasure to see. Well, oh Willie, I'm afraid of your ways. Now Willie, oh Willie, I'm afraid of your ways. Your mind is to rambling and leading me astray. Pretty Polly, you just about right. Pretty Polly, you just about right. I dug on your grave up to thirds of last night. Well, he threw her arms around him and then began to weep. Well, she threw her arms around him, then began to weep. Pretty soon, pretty Polly, she fell asleep. Now he stabbed her in her heart, and her lifeblood did flow. Well, he stabbed her in her heart, and her lifeblood did flow, and then down by the river with the body did go. Now he threw the dirt in over her and turned away to go. Well, he threw the dirt in over her and turned away to go, down by that river where the deep water flowed.
I'm still used to talking Flemish, so if I say "donk you will" all evening, that means thank you. The only trouble I did there, I went a little bit too fast. I guess I'm kind of all jumpy and giddy. You know, doing that Pretty Polly song makes me think of something else on that deal. That song started a whole series of what they call Pretty Polly songs. In fact, I'm sure you've heard, like, well, Bob Dylan does, like, The Banks of the Ohio. That's considered a Pretty Polly song. There's quite a few of them. For some reason or other, I can't seem to think of many names right now, but I'll give you a little short, later version of a Pretty Polly song. Actually, the only difference really is
In the days 700 years ago in Sweden, they stabbed the girls. And nowadays, they shoot them. So what do you got? It's all terrible there. This one is called Poor Ellen Smith. Wait 1 second, let me check this tune here. It's awful unnerving standing in front of people and tuning. One of the worst things you can happen to you. You're right. Geez. I've been in some most hideous situations tuning up. My God. It's one thing to learn how to play the damn things, but it's another thing to learn how to tune them. Well, let's take a whack. Anyway, it's called Poor Ellen Smith. Poor Ellen Smith, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying dead on the ground. Who had the heart and who had the will to murder poor Ellen for a $5 bill? Now poor Ellen Smith, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying dead on the ground. Well, whiskey tastes so fine, my blood begins to run. Who murdered poor Ellen with the 44 gun? Poor Ellen's in her grave with her hands across her breast. The sheriff and the bloodhounds will never know no rest. Poor Ellen Smith, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying dead on the ground. You know it, huh? Well, let's do her again. Poor Ellen Smith, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying dead on the ground. Good, let's do her one more time. Poor Ellen Smith, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying dead on the ground. This thing still, that second string still doesn't sound quite right, huh? Does she sound to you? No, us musician folks. Maybe the string's going dead. Maybe it's my ears. Oh, let's go on. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for the worst. I am now going to sing you a song called The Death of President Garfield. And I suppose you all know about that custom, habit, that they started getting into in America there some years back. Every once in a while they up and shoot a president. It's not a folk custom yet, but I don't know. I've been wondering about Nixon myself. Yeah. Yeah. Jeez, yeah. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the main reasons I never run to be president. See, I'm afraid somebody might shoot me. Anyway, poor old Garfield, I don't know what, yeah, he did. He didn't give Charlie Guiteau a job. See, this guy by the name of Charlie Guiteau, he wanted a job when Garfield got in to be president. Garfield didn't give him one. So old Charlie, he gets all upset, and he goes on home, and he gets a big old pistol, and he goes back there, and he aims it, and he cocks it, and he pulls the trigger and fires. Wow. Shot old Garfield. What many folks don't know is where he shot Garfield. He wounded him in the arm a little bit, but he shot him in the ass. See? Yeah, it's a fact, really. Scout's honor, shot him right in the ass. And so Garfield, he laid around there for a while, and then he finally died. Somebody made up this funny song about it. Maybe his wife, I don't know, but... anyway, it's not so funny, but it's kind of fun. I was walking down the street the other day, and I heard the report of a pistol. And a friend of mine, he looked up sort of excited like and said, "What could that mean?" And I give him something sort of like this. Well, they tell me Mr. Garfield been shot down low down. Tell me Mr. Garfield been shot. Yeah, tell me Mr. Garfield been shot down low down. Tell me Mr. Garfield been shot. Now, we saw a crowd gathered up over there, and we went across, and we went in. We heard Mr. Garfield, we saw Mr. Garfield lying on the bed. And I says to him, I says, "Morning, Mr. Garfield. How in the world is you feeling?" And he looked at me kind of funny, and he gave me something sort of like this. Well, they tell me I've been shot down very low down. Tell me I've been shot down low. I've been shot down very low down. Tell me I've been shot down low. Now, there was two boys there that evening, and one of them was a country boy, and the other one was a city boy. Then Mrs. Garfield, she walked up to the city boy, and she says to him, she says, "Young man, would you like to stay for dinner tonight and have something to eat with us?" And the city boy, he looked at her and he says to her, he says, "Yes, ma'am, I most assuredly would." See, city boys is very polite. They always say, "Yes, ma'am, I most assuredly would." And Mrs. Garfield said, "What would you like to have?" And he gave her something sort of like this. "Well, bring on your ham and your eggs, Lord, Lord. Oh, bring on your ham and your eggs. Yeah, bring on your ham and your eggs, Lord, Lord. Bring on your ham and your eggs." Now, Mrs. Garfield, she walked up to the country boy, and she looked at him and she says to him, she says, "Young man, would you like to stay for dinner tonight and have something to eat with us?" And the country boy, he looked at her, and for a minute there, and he says to her, he says, "Yep." Miss Garfield said, "And what would you like to have?" And he gave her something sort of like this. "Well, bring on your bacon and your beans, Lord, Lord. Oh, bring on your bacon and your beans. Yeah, bring on your bacon and your beans, Lord, Lord. Oh, bring on your bacon and your beans." Now, Mrs. Garfield finished up doing the dinner dishes that evening. She walked into the bedroom. She walked up to the bed. She looked down at Mr. Garfield lying there, and she says to him, she says, "Mr. Garfield, if something does go wrong and you don't get well, would you mind if I married again?" And he gave her something sort of like this. "Don't you never let a chance go by, Lord, Lord. Don't you never let a chance go by. Never let a chance go by, Lord, Lord. Don't you never let a chance go by." All right, I'll go your way. Go by. Now this comes the end of the song in a serious part. I was walking down the road the next day, and I saw Mrs. Garfield coming down the road towards me, and her arms was full of roses.
So I says to her, I says, "Morning, Mrs. Garfield. What in the world are you doing with all them roses there in your office?" And she looked at me kind of funny for a minute, and then she says to me, she says, "I'm going to put them on my husband's grave." And I says to her, "Oh, didn't know that, ma'am. Very sorry to hear. And where are you going to bury him?" And she gave me something sort of like this. "Well, I'll bury him on that long flowery branch, Lord, Lord. I'll bury him on that long flowery branch. I'll bury him on that long flowery branch, Lord, Lord. I'll bury him on that long." This is long music. Flowery branch. I never thought I'd see the day, me drinking orange juice all the time. You know, I used to drink a great deal, really. When I finished drinking, I was knocking down about 3 liters of whiskey a day, no kidding. Really? Yeah, every day, but I ended up in the hospital, though. So I don't drink. When I got out of the hospital, I started drinking Coca-Cola. Well, you know, heard what it does to pennies when you drop pennies in Nelson, so I figured I best not drink that anymore. So whenever I'd go out, I'd start drinking water. But I just can't cease paying money to just drink water. It's good to wash in, but Jesus. And so I ended up with orange juice. It's all right, but I don't know. It doesn't feel so good, though. Some years back, I made up a song myself, and it's about the only war protest, well, it is the only war protest song that I ever made up. And it wasn't about the Vietnamese War, but it was way before that. It was a protest song against the Korean War, which was approximately the same thing as the Vietnamese War, a dirty, rotten, economic, political war, and that was about it. The only thing in those days, the days of the Korean War, there wasn't so many people knew it. And a few of us that did, we was fought like hell, you know, but didn't do any good, but maybe a little bit. Maybe it turned a few folks on, but anyway, but as I'll tell you a little bit about the song, is that I was living with my ex-wife down on the beach in California there. And the reason we was doing that, when I say living on the beach, I mean really we was sleeping on the sand, and our tent was a couple blankets held together with clothespins, you know, and that sort of it. But the reason we were making the scene is because my wife was pregnant, see? So we wanted to have a good, healthy kid. So we figured getting all the vibrations from the sand and the sun, and eating raw foods and things like that when I'm down the beach, you know. Well, it sure did work, you laugh, but my God, that kid was a healthy one, let me tell you. 15 minutes after he was born, he was chasing the nurses up and down the aisle there. But anyway, while we were there, an older couple moved down to the beach beside us. When I say older couple, I mean 55, 60 years old. Not old, but they were older people. They were too old to have a child, let's say. And they had had one child, and a boy. And he had been sent to Korea, and he had been killed there, see? Well, it was their only kid. They were too old to have another kid. And not only that, they felt about that war like I did, that it was a dirty political economic war. So you can imagine how they felt losing their one and only son. The way I tell it here is one thing, but if you could have heard them tell it, it was plain old heartbreaking. There's no two ways about it. And it really hit me smack dab right in the old heart there. And I'd been married before that too, and I'd had 3 children that I lost. Not through war, thank God, but I lost them. So I was sort of getting over that, and they telling me this story, it really hit me like a ton of bricks. I knew just how they felt, you know. God. So anyway, some months later, I was sitting up in Hollywood, and I'd pulled out of the scene there, out of the folk scene, and I was kind of just making it on my own, and had a big bottle of wine there, and my old banjo knee was talking. All at once that song just came out. The idea, the memory of the people came to my mind, and bam, the song just popped out. So I'll give it to you. I call it Portland Town.
I was born in Portland town. I was born in Portland town. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was married in Portland town. I was married in Portland town. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Children I had 1, 2, 3. Children I had 1, 2, 3. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Frank, Jimmy, and Johnny made 3. Frank, Jimmy, and Johnny made 3. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Sent my children off to war. Sent my children off to war. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Killed my children 1, 2, 3. Killed my children 1, 2, 3. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Murdered my children 1, 2, 3. Murdered my children 1, 2, 3. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I won't have no kids no more. I won't have no kids no more. No, I won't. No, I won't. No, I won't. Thank you very much. I'm not so much on singing those war protest songs. I don't know, there's some beautiful ones out, but it seems like so many people are doing them, and I do know some people that do them, and they aren't really doing them from here, they're doing them for other reasons, and so I'm a little bit skeptical about doing that. But I guess we all feel the same. What do I have down here? Oh, well, I'll give you a cracky, a love song. It's called Willie Moore. I imagine you all know it. You know, I don't know what songs folks know over here don't know anymore. I've been playing in the continent for so long. So it's just so different. Every country I go to is all really different. Willie Moore, okay. Willie Moore was young, he was scarce 21, when he courted a damsel fair. For her eyes were like 2 diamonds bright, and raven black was her hair. Yeah, raven black was her hair. Willie courted her both night and day, till marry him she did agree. Oh, but when they went to get her parents' consent, oh, they said this could never be. Yeah, they said this could never be. I love Willie Moore, she told herself, far better than I love my life. Oh, I'd much rather die than to weep and cry, but I never can be his wife. Yeah, I never can be his wife. That very same night, sweet Annie disappeared.
They searched the country round till at length in a brook by her father's house, for the body of Annie was found. Yeah, the body of Annie was found. Now her mother and father live all alone. One weeps while the other mourns, and in front of their door lies a little green mound, where the body of Annie lies now. Yeah, the body of Annie lies now. Willie Moore scarcely spoke that anyone knew, till at length from his friends did part. For the last heard of him, he was in Montreal, where he died of a broken heart. Yeah, he died of a broken heart. He died of a broken heart. He died of a broken heart. One more? All righty. Well, I tell you what, I was going to give you a 18,000 verse song here. Not really, I don't know anything like that. But I was going to give you nothing, which I will give you later, and I will change it to ending up for the first half a philosophical song. Now prepare yourself. This song is so philosophical that it's very philosophical. Well, I'll tell you what, this song can prove itself to you. The next time, say that you're really on a down trip, see? Say, for example, Monday morning when you got to get up and go to work, and you can't find your socks. Now that's a time for philosophy, right? Right? Or you reach your hand in your pocket here, and you find you got a, great big hole in it, and you lost all your money. Now that's a time for philosophy too, see? Well, the next time that happens to you, think of this song. I guarantee you, it'll help out. Now get ready. This is it. Uh-oh. I can feel the philosophy just creeping up my back. If my nose starts turning red, that's a sure sign of philosophy. Well, I wished I was a rock sitting on a hill, doing nothing all day long but just sitting still. Wouldn't sleep and I wouldn't eat and I wouldn't even wash. Well, I'd just sit still 1,000 years and rest myself, by gosh. Now, folks, this is the deep part here. The philosophical parts are coming up now. Prepare yourselves. Get ready? And I wouldn't even wash. Well, I'd just sit still 1,000 years and rest myself, by gosh. Dum-dum-dee. All right, tell you what I'm going to do to you now. Is some time ago I got fooling around one day and I come up with this fun little melody, see? But I couldn't get any words to fit it at all. I couldn't, blank day, not a word come to my mind. So I remember this song I used to sing years ago. It's called The Freight Train Blues. And so I figured, and so I took the Freight Train Blues and I removed a few words here and added a few there, stretched, kind of fitted around and fitted in, see, so it kind of worked.
So I'll give it to you. Let's see where I'm at here. Oh, yeah, by the way, I just broke my banjo, too. You notice I got a match stuck in there. A little piece fell off. My heart fell off, too. Oh, my God, I'm ruined. All right, prepare yourselves. Here we go. Maybe. I was born in Dixie in a boomer shack, just a little shanty by the railroad track. Humming of the drivers was my lullaby. Freight train whistle taught me how to cry. Freight train blues got 'em in the middle of my rambling shoes. Freight train blues got 'em in the middle of my rambling shoes. That's the hard part. No, I'm old enough to quit just running around. Tried 100 times to settle down. Every time I find a place I want to stay, freight train whistle send me on my way. Freight train blues got 'em in the middle of my rambling shoes. Freight train blues got 'em in the middle of my rambling shoes. When you're feeling kinda down and you're cutting out of town, where you think you're going to go? When you're feeling kinda low and you know you got to go, what you think you're going to do? Well, think of you, remember when and all the things when you remember how and why and then and know it wasn't true. When you're standing in the cold and your coat is just too old, what you think you're going to do? I'm tight, I'm tight. Yeah, I'm tight, I'm tight. When old summer's been and gone, and you know you don't have long, what you think you're going to do? I was born in Dixie in a boomer shack, just a little shanty by the railroad track. Humming of the drivers was my lullaby. Freight train whistle taught me how to cry. Freight train blues got 'em in the middle of my rambling shoes.
Freight train blues, got 'em in the middle of my ramblin' shoes. Thank you. Donovan? I pulled a good one in Germany. I didn't know I didn't know any German at all. And I was thanking everybody one evening after the show, and I said, Dankeschön beaucoup. Completely international. That's it. Here's one, it's called A Chattering Jaw. I learned it from Mike Seeger. And I never did figure out the story. Well, I finally worked it out, I think. But I'll tell you how it goes, because I don't think you'll be able to figure it out either. But it's about a guy. He's got a wife, a young wife. And the trouble is this wife, she talks too much. It's called chattering jaw. Chattering jaw. She's got a chattering jaw. I read in books that many wives seem to have this problem. And, but anyway, he was talking to his dad or some old guy there. He's talking to him, he says, my God, he says, I just don't know. He says, she just talks all the time. He says, is she mean? And she says, oh, no, nothing like that. She just talks too much. So the old man, he says, well, he says, I'll tell you what. He says, you go home and you love her. Give her some love, and if she keeps talking too much, pick up a stick and give her a good beating. So the young fellow thinks, well, that's a pretty good idea. So he goes tearing on home, and on the way home, he runs into his best friend. Now, his best friend is kind of a rascal, see, and he wants to cause a little confusion. So he says, he says, like this, I can wink better as this side of this. He says, he says, I saw your wife a while ago. In very suspicious circumstances. So the young husband says, my God, she's got a lover. It's the first thought he had. So he really goes to tear an ass home. Gets there and he bursts in the door. But the only thing, he pounds on the door. That's it. He pounds on the damn door, thump, bomb, bam, and prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. She does have a lover. See? So the lover's there, and he's pounding on the door, and his wife says, my God, that's my husband. You better hide. See? And now, here's where it's confusion. The husband's name is Will the Weaver, and the lover's name is Willie. I suppose that was the name of her father. See, they got a real father complex. But anyway, two Willies there. It sounds so funny to me. But anyway, so old Willie, he hides up the chimney. And the husband, he bursts in and he's looking around there, and he doesn't see anything, so he sits down there in the fireside piece there in the chimney piece, kind of feeling bad, and he looks up the chimney. And there's Willie up there. God. So the old husband jumps up and he builds a fire. Then his wife starts screaming, my God, take him down, save his life, you'll kill him. And so the husband, he puts on some more wood. So finally the wife gets enough of this and she really puts her foot down. She says, if you want me to be your loving wife, you better take him down from there. Just like that. So the husband, he reaches up and he pulls him down. And then, I don't know, the world's really strange. After all of that, the wife beats the husband. That's not democratic. It's not straight. But anyway, she beat him. And then the husband seems to, as I get the story, chases the lover Willie away. And when he comes back home, his wife picks up a stick, see? And where the husband is red, she beats him blue. End of story. See that? Yes. It's a song from my grandmother's time. Well, son, oh son, what's the matter? Does she lie? Does she flatter? Does she have chattering jaw on with Will the Weaver? Oh, well, she don't lie and she don't flatter. She don't scold and she don't flatter, but she's got that chattering jaw on with Will the Weaver. Oh, Well, son, oh son, go home and love her. Do not find a fault above her. But if she does not do well, pick up stick and beat her well. So he goes home and his friend he met him just thus he spoke, but just to fret him. Saw your wife a while ago, and on with Will the Weaver roll. So he went home in a devil of a wonder, rapped on the door just like thunder, threw his hat and his wife she cried, "That's my husband, you better hide." So up the chimney Willie ventured, through the dawn her husband met her, searching all the walls around, and not a soul could be found. So up the chimney, did I sing that verse, up the chimney? I guess so. Up the chimney Willie ventured, through the dawn her husband met her, searching all the walls around, and not a soul could be found. Well, he sat down by the fireside weeping, till up the chimney he got a peeping. There he spied the wretched soul sitting on the fire crack pole. So he put on he dealt all around him fire, just to soothe his own desire. And his wife she cried with pretty good will, "Don't do that, man, you'll kill." So he put on a little more fuel. His wife she cried, "My love, why do you take him down and spare his life? You want me to be your loving wife." So he put, oh God. Well, what if I do him twice? It doesn't hurt anybody. He put on a little more fuel. His wife she cried, "My love, why do you take him down, spare his life? You want me to be your loving wife." So he reached up and down, he fetched him like a raccoon dog, he catched him, and where his wife she beat him red, made poor Weaver wish he was dead. He went home, his wife she met him, up with a stick and down she set him, and where he was red she beat him blue, and every word of this is true. An old folk custom, forgetting words. And sometimes I sure am folksy about it. Here's one I bet you all know. It's called Darlin' Corey. For those of you that don't know who Darlin' Corey was, well, she was a mountain woman. She made moonshine whiskey, bootleg liquor. But the only trouble with Darlin' Corey is she was doing it illegally, see, and revenue officers was looking for her, and they hunted and they looked and they hunted and they looked, and they finally found her out there behind the barn making the whiskey, and they had a big shoot up, a big blast out, and Darlin' Corey got done up, which is a terrible shame because I understand from very good sources that that whiskey she made was pretty good. But c'est la vie, there you go. Anyway, they found Darlin' Corey and shot her down, and I'll even dedicate this song to her. Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? Poor men are coming just to break your old still house down. For Oh, the first time I saw darling Corey, she was sitting in the sand. She was looking kind of worried bad about her man. Oh, the next time I saw darling Corey, she was leaning in the door. She was looking kind of pretty, and I liked the dress she wore. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the ground. Dig a hole in the meadow, just to lay darling Corey down. Oh, the last time I saw darling Corey, she was standing in the square. 6 guns strapped around her middle, and her low-down man was there. Wake up, darling Corey, what makes you sleep so sound? For every men are coming just to break your old still house down. Payday at Coal Creek. There's an important song for many of us people, and I would say from what I've heard something about the troubles you've had down in Glasgow and all the shipyards, maybe for here too right about now. And it's called Payday at Coal Creek. And it's from the beginning of the big problems we had back in the 30s, the Depression and all of that. And it takes place in Kentucky, Bell and Harlan County, Kentucky, in the mining areas. And in those days, those miners weren't making enough money to keep alive, and there's just no two ways about it. I have a friend, Jim Garland, who was one of the first union organizers, or labor organizers in that area at that time for the CIO, and he told me in his little village that 5 kids in one winter starved to death. They died of what he called a bloody flux. Pardon me. And 5 little kids died, not because their daddies weren't working, their daddies were, but they just weren't making a living, that's all. And they tried to organize, and of course the companies called in gun thugs, and their brutes, their police, their Pinkerton agents, their private police, to beat the miners back to work, to force them back, and they closed the mines down to starve them a little more, but it didn't work. The miners won. And it helped a little bit at that time. But anyway, this is one of those songs. I believe it's by a woman called Florence Reese, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe her husband was one of the men down there that was killed. The story is simple. Payday won't be here anymore at Coal Creek. That's about it. And we're going on the road, and I'm going to leave him. Now it's payday, well, oh, payday, well, oh, payday, payday at Coal Creek tomorrow, well, oh, payday, at Coal Creek tomorrow. Now it's bye-bye, well, oh, bye-bye, Well, oh, bye-bye, yeah, bye-bye. My woman, when I'm gone, well, it's bye-bye. My woman, when I'm gone. Well, you miss me. Oh, you'll miss me. Yeah, you'll miss me. You'll miss me. My woman, when I'm gone, yeah, you'll miss me. My woman, when I'm gone. I'm a rambler, I'm a rambler, I'm a rambler, I'm a rambler. A long way from home, I'm a rambler, a long way from home. Now it's payday, well, oh, payday, well, oh, payday, yeah, payday. Won't be here anymore, well, oh, payday. Won't be here anymore. Yes, bye-bye. Well, oh, bye-bye. Well, oh, bye-bye, yeah, bye-bye. My woman, when it's gone, well, it's bye-bye. My woman, when I'm gone. Thank you very much. Thank you very kindly. Now on that one, I'm going back to my other tuning. This could take anywhere from 10 days to 4 hours. That damn Pete Seeger's the son of a gun for tuning you ever saw. Have you ever seen him on the stage, any of you? Yeah. You know, everybody's clapping like hell. You couldn't hear a jet airplane if it crashed into the building. See, everybody's clapping away, and by God, while they're all clapping, he's standing there and goes zip, zip, zap, zip, ding. And when they stop, he starts right in, you know, and it's right on, you know. He ought to be ashamed of himself. I wish I could do that. About on, I think, yes. Here's one Jack and I used to do. Oh, Ramblin Jack Elliott. Many years ago, we were in Scotland, we were in England quite a bit. Back in the days of skiffle and all that. When I was just starting out. Yeah. A lot of you folks with just twinkles in your daddy's eye at that time. But a rambling boy. There are many a cities, well, I did enjoy. And now I married me a pretty little wife. Well,
loved her dearer. I'm hitting some strange strings in here. Hand, what are you doing down there? Nothing. Well, behave yourself. All right. Well, she was pretty, old and neat and gay. Caused me to rob the broad highway. Round bridges will I to declare, and I made myself 10,000 there. I'm a rich, good rambling boy. Many a cities will I did enjoy. Now I married me a pretty little wife. I loved her dearer than I loved my life. Said she's all alone. Sister said she has no home. Why she left in sad despair, making heart and a baby fair. I'm a rich, but a rambling boy. Many cities, well, I did enjoy. Now I married me a pretty little wife. I loved her dearer than I loved my life. Now when I die, please Lord, another 90 years, don't bury me at all. Place me away in alcohol. 44 put by my feet. Tell everyone I'm just asleep. I'm a rich rambling boy. Many a cities, well, I did enjoy. Now I married me a pretty little wife. I loved her dear life. And I loved my life. Well, we're getting a little bit short on time, I was thinking, so I'll give you a couple more. Here's one I made up. I made this song up, actually, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's kind of a fun story, really. It took place some years back in Brussels, in Belgium. And the cops was just hell-bent on election to get me out of Belgium, see? And they was trying all kinds of shenanigans to do it. And I was hid out in a cave because I didn't want to leave. No place I could go, actually, you know. I'd be in a bad spot. It's winter time, too, cold as hell, or almost winter. But anyway, I was hiding out in this cave in Brussels. And at nighttime, I'd slip out. And I would slip out at night and pass a hat around, get some, play the banjo and pass a hat to get some food and to get money for food. But anyway, it was cold as hell, as I say, and there was nothing down in that damn basement there except me and the banjo, and no stoves or nothing. So, of course, me and the banjo, we got a visiting and a talking as usual, and I decided I was going to make up a kid's song. And a lot of times when things is bad, you get thinking of kids and you get feeling a little bit better maybe. So I decided I was going to write a kid's song. And so I got to working on it, and it got a little more deeper and deeper and sort of heavy-ish, and I figured, well, it's a bigger kid's song, see? Then finally after I got it all finished, I thought to myself, well, it's really a big kid's song. About your age, or your grandparents' age, any of you kids on up there, you know. So it's an older kid's song, and it's called The Valley. I was going to do In fact, it's kind of a funny story there, too. I was going to do the valley, and I was going to do the mountain, and I was going to do the sky. And I did the valley, but I did the mountain. I made it up, too, but I made it up with Donovan. And he needed a song for a hit to get on the charts, see? And I was drinking as usual. I said, well, for Christ's sake, let's do it right now. Let's make you up one. And I gave him the mountain. You know, I brought that out. It was to be a Zen haiku song. The Zen saying, first there's a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there's your mountain again, see? Well, that was in it. And then there's the haiku thing, which I don't remember all the way now, but to lock upon my garden gates a snail, see? I always thought that was kind of beautiful. So anyway, that come out a song, and got to, there's a valley and a mountain. And just before coming over here, I run into some words I'd been scribbling down and reworked them, and I found out I had the sky. So I got the three of them now. The sky I won't do tonight because I haven't got to hardly play it. Next time I see you, I'll sing you the sky too. But right now, I'll give you the valley. Maybe. That's a word I learned from my granny. Very handy word. Maybe yep, maybe no. My gosh. Time is getting closer. Soon green leaves will start to fade. Dripping rain, they'll start to fall. Summer's gone and passed away. Children's hopes are like green tree leaves. They soon fade and tumble down. They come to rest in that lonesome valley, where they never can again be found. Children's hopes are like green tree leaves. They soon fade and tumble down. Autumn deed and lonesome valley, where they never can again be found. Autumn leaves are colored sorrow. Leaf flowers there are colored blue. Falling rain is colored sadness.
there's not many left to fall. Children's hopes are like green tree leaves. They soon fade and tumble down. They come to rest in that lonesome valley, where they never can again be found. Children's hopes are like green tree leaves. They soon fade and tumble down. They come to rest in that lonesome valley, where they never can again be found. Wind played rain will be the music laid upon those falling leaves. Play deep within that frost-white valley. Summer's gone and passed away. Children's hopes are like green tree leaves. They soon fade and tumble down. They come to rest in that lonesome valley, where they never can again be found. Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I got a splendid surprise for you on that one. The second verse I made up on the spot because I forgot it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Well, now I'll give you one short one, I guess. We're getting on the time. Since I'm on a kid thing, I'll give you another little kid song. You wouldn't think it to look at me, but by George, when I was younger, anywhere from 6 months to 60, I suppose, I used to make up all the time, really, no kidding, kids songs. I like to make up kids songs. They were so much fun. But through the years, I was traveling around here and there. I lost them, sort of. Here and there, I would sing a little bit, forget them, and then the words would get lost. So out of all those kids songs, I remember one verse and a melody of one song, see? So I'll give it to you because it's kind of fun. Now 2 little boys and a big fat frog sitting in the river upon the log. The log turned over and they all fell in. Blah, 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 blah. Down to the bottom and up again.
I'm sorry there isn't any time for any more. You could go on all night, actually. But thanks very much for being an excellent audience, and hope to see you and more of you next week. We'll see you then as well. Good night. Thank you.